there. This is the superior articular process. This one would be inferior articular process of this guy. This is the superior articular process of this guy. Okay, makes sense, I hope. So here's how you can tell the neck bones. Okay, the neck bones all have these holes. Okay, these are transverse foramen. So these holes are on the side, transverse on the side, the side of the neck, side of the bone. Okay, so this weird one, this is your first bone, is the atlas. Okay, I will show it to you in lab. It looks like a ring. Okay, another weird bone is the bone number 2, is the axis. Okay, it's got a little thing right there called a dens, which is right there. So your bone number 2 is right there. It's got the little dens. Okay, got the transverse ligament so it doesn't wiggle around. Okay, it keeps C1 right there so it doesn't come back or forward. If it comes back or forward, this hole gets smaller. Okay, and it's gonna be pinching on the spinal cord, and that is bad news. Okay, as a matter of fact, a lot of the Down syndrome kids, they have this ligament missing. Okay, and if you look at some X-rays, there's a bigger gap here. Okay, there's an instability there. Okay, so this is the transverse ligament. So that's how you can tell the neck. They all have a foramen. Okay, 2 weird bone on the top, the atlas, which is C1. C stands for cervical. C1, C2 was the weird one, and it goes all the way down to C7. So because there are 7 segments. Thoracics, it's got 12. So thoracics, you count them with T1, T2, T3, and so on, T12. Okay. Now the thing about the thoracic bones, they have an extra articulation. Okay, for the ribs. Okay, and one of the easiest way to tell is they have a super long, pointed downward spinous process. Okay, hint, hint. On the test, they either give you one of these or one of these. Okay, or maybe a lumbar. Okay, so you can tell the difference, right? This one is more broad and big, flat. This is the lumbar spinous process. Okay, here are the thoracic lumbar process, spinous process, and the cervical ones are all bifurcated, got little well, except C1, of course. It's got a split in the spinous processes. Okay, it's got a little split. So that's how you can tell between the neck and the thoracics and the lumbar. Okay. Of course, these are the spine transverse processes that's sticking out, but we don't call them transverse process. We call them mammillary process, but I don't think you have to know that. Here's the sacrum. Here's the sacrum and the coccyx. Okay. Here the sacral nerve comes out from these foramen. Okay. This part right here is the anterior, and this is the posterior because it's still got little spines. Okay, little spinous processes. Okay, so sacrum comes from 5 bones, and coccyx comes from 4 bones. Okay, 4 bones. So here is the thoracic cage. Here is the sternum. Okay, the sternum. Okay, here's the front view. So we all have a very tender spot at the end of the sternum. It's called the xiphoid process. It's very easy to be fractured. So if you ever do if you ever do CPR, okay, be careful not to fracture this little xiphoid process. Okay, this one right here is called the manubrium, the body, and the xiphoid process. So it's made of three bones. Okay, this is sternum. Okay, jugular notch, sternal angle. Okay, jugular notch, sternal angle, and the clavicular notch where the clavicle sits. Okay. So as babies, okay, you have these called fontanelles. Okay, and of course these will become sutures. Okay, coronal suture, sagittal suture, and the lambdoidal in the back. Okay, when they ossify and mature. Here's the squamous one. Anyway, these guys are very soft. If you ever held a baby, put your hand on their, you'll be able to feel their pulse from here. Okay. So the reason they're not fused is so that it can squeeze through the birth canal. Okay, so that would be chapter 7. A lot of stuff to remember. Okay, and with lab you'll be able to recognize them better.